Hi, welcome to Singapore. We're in my office and looking at asking questions. As we've talked about, it's okay not to know. It's not a justification for laziness. It's not an excuse for irresponsibility. But we don't know everything. This is one of the mythologies that we'll talk about later in building effective leadership, that it's okay not to know everything. What it gives you freedom to do is ask questions, to inquire, to engage, to walk around, to explore, and to realize that everybody knows something more than you do. And knowing something more than you do, learning is an important part of what you want to model and how to be able to engage them. I think of as an example Bill Bratton, who was tasked to turn around the New York Police Department. He assumed he didn't know everything, but he had some gifts to bring, some leadership, some capacity to change the organization, to make them more effective at guarding and protecting and making the city a better place to live. So one of the things that he did, it's so simple, was he just led by walking around. So he would go out different parts of the city and he'd walk out, he'd be on a cop's beat, and he'd go up and he'd see a cop standing on the street and he'd walk up and he'd shake his hand and, "Hi, how you doing? And what's your name?" "So I'm John Doe." And so then he'd ask a simple question. "So how you doing?" So, well, this is the police chief, so I better. So he'd just talk, and then Bill would find out what the task this cop was on, and he'd find out, for instance, in one situation, he's to guard the toll booth. So he's standing out there, and then Bill looks up, he sees a toll booth about 40 meters away, and says, "Well, if you're guarding the toll booth, well, what are you doing out here?" And the cop would say, "Well, my radio doesn't work when I'm inside the building, and in order to keep connected, I've got to guard it from out here." And of course, well, of course, our communication is limited. Radio, or how do we communicate with each other? And all of these different things gives them information to be able to look at where are we effective and what do we need to be able to do. Sometimes we're so task-orientated that we can't disengage and become curious. And one of the simplest tools in asking questions is to keep that awareness of investigating, exploring, and the simplest tool is asking questions. "Hi, I'm Matt Rawlins. I'm in this position. What are you doing? How are you doing? What's effective? What are the challenges that you face?" And it gives you then more information that isn't coming through someone else, that's no agenda to it, that is just clear information on the effectiveness in the organization. And those little pieces of information are the tools that make us more effective and allow us to kind of incrementally change. Not massive radical changes, different things for that, but the incremental change, the small gathering of information to do what needs to be done. And that sometimes is a powerful tool to be able to move us forward. Thanks for being with me. I trust you have a good day, and I'll talk to you some more later.